Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jaylee. This is Jaylee's Corner, as usual, and this is my review for Growing Up Hip Hop, Season 3, Episode 8. I couldn't think of what it was. Count Your Blessings. So, let's just get into this review. It picks up from where... I'm trying to think how honest I should be. I don't think I like this season of Growing Up Hip Hop. The other seasons before, I liked it. Even the Growing Up Hip Hop Atlanta season was kind of interesting, even though their whole storyline was about Reginae and Brandon getting into it. And I feel like this season is all about, the whole Brianna-Angela beef, which is stupid because it's more of a Brianna beef with everybody. And, it's also... My hair's falling on down. And then, even the whole Boogie alcohol, drug... I don't know. I'm just like... It's just coming off a little bit weird. So, I don't know how much I like this season. What's on my shirt? One of my little things fell. I don't know if I like this season as much as I've liked other seasons. I feel like it's a lot of repetitive bullshit, and it's kind of just getting on my nerve. This episode picks up, with Brianna and Dame having a conversation because Brianna went to Dame after having the whole fiasco with Boogie at the addiction meeting or whatever. And, telling him, I think Boogie's on more than just alcohol. And when he says, oh, yeah, he's also on pills. And she's like, no, he's also on lean. It's that whole conversation. And, Dame said, I feel like he's crying out for help. Mainly because he's not hiding this addiction. He's not, like getting drunk and not letting people know it. He's not being high and not letting people see it. He's getting high and then going to AA meetings or alcoholics meetings or narcotics meetings. He's getting DUIs because he's literally driving drunk down the wrong way, down the dang on freeway. What I do remember is, I just feel like if Dame Dad's son got arrested for a DUI, it would have made the news in some sort of way. I don't remember hearing about it, but whatever, it could be something that I just missed. So yeah, he said that he feel like he's crying out for help, and he has to help his son, because of course he loves his son. He then asked Brianna, how she's doing, because he thought that she was coming over to get some advice about herself, and she's like, I'm not the one to even really go to people when I need help for stuff. And then she does bring up how Mary J. Blige's fans are kind of harassing her. Girl, bye. Please shut up. I mean, do you know... This is my thing about that. Do you know how many celebrities and their children deal with harassment, bullying, just assholes on social media and things like that? I'm not famous, not by the fucking least bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like 2%, out here on these YouTube streets. I have people who say crazy bullshit to me, and I'm not like, oh, it's because... No, people are stupid, and people are rude, and if you put yourself on any kind of, national public platform, they're gonna come for you. It doesn't matter if you Mary J. Blige, future ex-husband's daughter, if you Jaylee, from... Detroit, Michigan on YouTube. It doesn't matter who you are. You can be Sasha and Malia Obama. You can be Whoopi Goldberg daughter. You can be whoever. They're going to come for you regardless. So I'm like, why you keep acting as if because you Mary J. Blige's future ex-husband's daughter, that Mary J. Blige fans are all of a sudden coming for you because what your father did. They would have talked about you even if your father wasn't cheating on Mary, because you are a bitch. You know what I'm saying? They coming at you because you're not on this public platform on Growing Up Hip Hop. Now they know who you are and they're coming after you for that reason. And probably because you be saying a little bullshit that I'm going to get into later. So, yeah, we had the whole... Went off on a tangent. We had that whole little conversation. Next we see Egypt and TT having a conversation. Let me say this. TT is a pretty girl. Okay? Not TT. Egypt is a pretty girl. You know what I'm saying? I don't like knocking anyone's looks by far. I'm not like that. However, I don't know who did her makeup for this little sit down she had with TT. I don't know who did that to that girl face. I don't know if it was a thing where she did not have makeup and someone, I'm not sure, This is a special shirt and it keeps making me mad. I don't know if, if no one did her makeup and that's just something that she did real quick and fast to do that scene. But my mom didn't look too I mean, to me, she looked almost sick. Like, it was a bad makeup job. People know when you are on TV, they have what you call makeup camera, because the way your face looks, like the way my face looks on this camera is nothing, because this is a cell phone. So this is what I really look like. But TV cameras is different. I'm like, somebody did a really, I just did not like her makeup. I did not like the way it made her look. It made her look like, like a crackhead. But anywho, we're gonna get over that. TT didn't look good either. I don't know who did her makeup. So, Egypt is talking to TT and is saying how, she talked with her father about the book and how her father basically said the things in that Your Mama book was a lie. Now, see, what he said was, he didn't say what she said in the book was a lie. He was saying she exaggerated. He was saying she made things seem like they were way worse. So, it wasn't like he was saying, I never hit your mama, or we didn't have physical altercations. He just said, to the extent of what she said it was, that was a lie. So TT then says, look, the same thing I think I said before on my last review. They probably have two different perspectives of what happened, because when you're going through things, you see things how you see things. So TT was like, your mom has her recollection of what happened, your dad has his recollection of what happened. They both had their own points of view over how or what happened back then, but you kind of need to leave that in the past. She also says, how you shouldn't tell your mom what your dad said, because that can be a whole another situation. But I'm just like, it seems like Egypt is trying to make something right that isn't wrong per se, meaning she trying to fix a relationship between her parents as if her parents want whatever happened to be fixed. And I think they're both over it, simply because, again, Pat wrote that book 8 years ago. You know what I'm saying? What happened between her and Treach happened 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Or however long it's been. So my thing is, I don't think there's nothing for Egypt to fix currently. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think it's her responsibility to try to fix something if there's something that needs to be fixed. If Pep is looking for something from Treach, or Treach wants to say something to Peppa, that's something they should handle on their own. Their daughter, she shouldn't even be trying to get involved. But it kind of shows her age. It shows her, for lack of a better term, immaturity. Because she's thinking it's so simple and easy to where my mom said this and this must be right, so my dad needs to apologize. And it ain't that simple. And it's also not that simple to where, if he apologized, it'll make things better. It ain't that simple. But, TT, kind of say, for right now, just leave it alone. The next thing we see is Romeo, Boogie, Angela, and TJ. TJ's back, that is Jam Master Jay's son. He was on the first, I think, 2 seasons. But as he said, he been on tour. He's the DJ for ASAP, Ferg. He been doing his own thing. So he's been making that money. You know what I'm saying? He's making that money. So yeah, but he's back in town. So he's trying to meet up with everyone. And because they were the original cast, basically, minus, I think, Kristin and Egypt also were. But they don't even hang out with Egypt much. Egypt don't hang out. I'm going to talk about that later, too. Anywho, so they're just all catching up as friends and things like that. As I said, TJ was talking about how he's been on tour with ASAP Ferg, have been doing an album, but just doing different things, and, he's finally back in town. Romeo goes on to say, I've been, out here serial dating. And it was funny because Book, like you said, like you're a serial killer. He like, no, I'm just, dating different people or whatever. So they're kind of just like chopping it up a little bit. TJ brings up that he wants to have this little party. He wants everyone to attend. And, he's talking about the party or whatever. And it's like, y'all want to come, we all should come, blah, 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 blah. You hear Boogie say, yeah, I should bring Rihanna. And you see Angela look over like, really, bitch? Really? Because we know she ain't fucking with Rihanna like that. But, he then brings up kind of what he's been doing recently. He brings up that he has a DUI. He then says, yeah, I was, I got pulled over because I was driving the wrong way on the wrong side of the road. You got to be pretty fucked up to do that. I have only drunk drove twice ever in life. And when I say drunk, I don't mean like incoherent drunk where I'm on the wrong side of the road. I mean like I went out, I had a couple of drinks, and I ended up driving home. The one time I was fine to drive home, I just, I got home in time when the drunkenness hit me. The other time I drove home, I was drunk enough to where I called my mom like, okay, I'm drunk driving. Like I'm coherent and I know that I'm drunk. So I'm driving slow. Like I'm not taking the freeway. I'm taking the street. You know what I'm saying? But I just want you to talk to me to keep me coherent so that I can make it home. And that was probably maybe 4 years ago, I think it was. Because I'm not a drunk driving person. But I think to be so drunk to where you're driving the wrong way down a street is very, very bad. Like, I wasn't so drunk that I couldn't walk to my car or I didn't know the right way to drive. I was drunk enough, but also sober enough to know I need someone to talk to me to keep me focused. I felt like I was more sleepy. You know what I'm saying? But it still was a bad idea. And since then, because I was scared driving, I'm like, okay, I would never ever, have that many drinks and drive home. Anywho, but yeah, he was saying that that's what he did. And Romeo and them were like, wow, that's scary, because they didn't know the extent of his DUI. A DUI could be as simple as I had a glass. I had a Long Island iced tea. It was a lot of vodka in it. It was, it was less Coke and more liquor in it. So if I get pulled over because I was maybe swerving a little bit, that can be a DUI because I had a little bit of alcohol in my system. Versus I went out, I'm so drunk that I don't know where I'm going. I'm driving the wrong. It's it's two different types of DUIs you can get. His was a pretty bad one. The only way I think it could have been worse is if he would have gotten into a car accident and could have hurt himself or someone else. So Romeo was like, look, I have Bible study at my house. You need Jesus. You need to come to Bible study. And Boogie like, okay, cool. I'm gonna come to Bible study. And then he's like, you know what? Y'all should bring everybody. I think everybody would, would, what's the damn word I'm looking for? Would benefit from coming to Bible study and just, getting a little bit of Jesus in their life. I completely agree. So the next thing we see is Brianna. Y'all know I don't like Brianna at all. It's hard for me to like that girl and to even sympathize with some of the things that she brought up on today's episode, but I'm going to do my best. So she goes to see her spiritual advisor. Now, the first thing I said when she said she was going to see her spiritual advisor, I'm like, she can't be going to this person often because her spirit is all off kilter. She is an evil type of person. She just always is bitchy. And I just feel like if you have a spiritual advisor, it kind of zens you out. It kind of keeps you calm. And she don't never seem calm. Like, ever. So, when she get there, I realized the reason that she probably be a bitch. Because when I see her spiritual advisor seems like she got a funky ass attitude too. She walked in like, hey, Brianna. Like, she didn't even want to see Brianna. And, I just always picture a spiritual advisor to be, they just have this aura of positivity. And when I just didn't feel that from the spiritual advisor in the first beginning scenes. I honestly didn't. No tea, no shade. That's how I felt. Brianna starts talking about her eye itching as usual. You know how it is. Talking about Angela and Christina. All Brianna's talking about is either Angela, Christina, or Mary J. Blige. Those are her three go-to conversations. Point blank, period. So, she's saying how, because the spiritual advisor starts to open up a little bit. She don't seem as bitchy. And she's like, what's your problem with Angela? And, she's like, she said some stupid stuff, some stupid shit to me, and I replied accordingly. Meaning, I felt like she said something dumb, so when I replied to her, I was a bitch to her, is what she basically meant. And from the scene that they play back each time that she says that, it's a clear thing. If she walk up like, hey, nice to see you. No, I think Angela said, hey, nice to meet you. And she says, oh, no, we actually met many, many moons ago. Angela then says, oh, really? How old were we? And then Brianna responds, bitch, I don't know how old you are now. For me, that's not saying some crazy shit to you. That's saying, oh, damn, we met when? I would say the same thing to anybody who said they met me before, and I don't know you. You met me then. When did we meet? How old were we? Was we in high school? Was we co-workers? When did we meet, bitch? You know what I'm saying? So she keep trying to make it seem as if Angela was this complete bitch to her, and what they're playing isn't Angela being a complete bitch to her. It's just my opinion. If you don't like it, I don't really care. So she then says how Angela made her feel uncomfortable, and that Angela made her feel like she wasn't wanted there. And she's like, even if I wasn't wanted there, she didn't have to be such a bitch about it. I guess for that, she was talking about years and years and years ago, the many moons ago, when she said Angela made her feel like she couldn't get in the limo. Girl, if you don't get it's people in Houston who drowning, and you out here worried about a goddamn limo ride from 15 years ago. Bitch, get over it. I mean, why are you harboring that in your spirit? It was crazy. So, she then speaks about Christiana. And she's like, why are y'all not friends anymore? Oh, you know what? I don't even feel like talking about stupid stuff and people who don't matter. So, I'm not going to talk about that. Meaning, you don't know why you're not friends with Christina. You were being a bitch and Christina wasn't standing for it, and y'all not friends anymore. Bottom line, period. She then says, I think I have abandonment issues. My dad isn't talking to me. And she then goes into, now this is what pissed me off about her. She then goes into, Mary isn't talking to me either, because she quit. She quit the family. And she was like, what? She's like, yeah, she quit. When you get a divorce, that means you quit on the family. And she's like, that's not what divorce means. That's not true. She said, she quit me. She ain't talking to me. She quit our family. That's really fucked up. And, the advisor then goes on to... But this is my thing about that. You have two different type of people you have two different type of ways that people react to divorces. You have some families where when people get divorced and there's some kind of stepchild, sometimes the relationship splits. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is sometimes. It depends on what is the reason for the divorce. If your dad fucked me over and, I'm just trying to get myself together, they might have to step away from the family. You have another side where two people get a divorce and both parties are able to coexist and still deal with the other one's children that they formed this bond with. But sometimes that takes time. She might not be in the place to where she wants to speak to anyone in his family because of what he did to her. You as a woman should be able to fucking respect that. So the fact that you are on national TV, on this TV show, trying to make it seem as if Mary J. Blige did you wrong because she isn't talking to you right now because of some things she's going through with your father, to me is some bullshit. Because you keep saying, well, she hasn't called me. Well, have you called her? And if you have called her and she hasn't responded to you, then just accept it. Is it fucked up to a certain degree? Yeah, because your feelings are hurt. But you have to realize she probably has hurt feelings too. You know what I'm saying? And my question still is, how close were y'all? Because you keep saying how you was this black sheep and how no one dealt with you, how you was out in the street smoking reef and doing all this thing. So how close were you even to her to where it's as if it's not... Let me stop. Let me stop. Anywho, the advisor tells her, you can either continue to... Wait. No. She tells her that she doesn't trust people and that she pushes people away. And that's why she's a bitch to people when she meets them, because she feels like if I push them away first, they don't have a chance to abandon me. So I'm just going to keep them at arm's length and then I'm good. So it's like you can either keep blaming your parents for your issues and for how you push people away, and you can blame your parents for the fact that you feel rejected. She was like, or you can realize that you can't keep being a bitch to people. You can't keep being a bitch to people that you just meet, that you walk in the door and you already being a bitch. You can't be that way. You can do one or the two. You can't do both. You can't keep blaming your parents and keep being the bitch. You grow the fuck up, okay? So, yeah. Damon Bookie meet up, which I think is a great thing. Dame texts him and said, please come home. We need to talk. I want to see how you're doing. And, when he gets there, he's like, look, how are you doing? Brianna came and talked to me. She said that you were doing some other drugs, and I just need to know why you are doing drugs. Like, what is wrong with you? Are you depressed? What's going on? Bookie in his confessional says, look, I just needed to escape. You know, it was a thing to where I had the court case, I had the court fees, I had the lawyer fees, I had my dad talking about me taking over business, and I didn't know if I would be able to get it because of the DUI. He like, I just needed to escape my reality. He like, and the way I did it was I got, you know, I did a whole bunch of drugs to just not be in my reality. He like, it was really that simple. You know, but my thing is, hell, Dame, he was also homeless because you put him out. You know what I'm saying? He had to go live with his friend. So not only was he, you know what I'm saying, broke trying to pay some lawyer fees, and he was trying to be high and thinking about a goddamn on weed business in Las Vegas, he's also homeless in LA because his daddy put him out because of a DUI. So that added to his stress. You know what I'm saying? To say that. And, you know, Dame was like, you know, look, is it that you know, can you not stop doing drugs? Like, are you addicted? Are you a drug addict? Do you need rehab? And Boogie starts crying a little bit, which I thought was a beautiful thing. He says how he does not need rehab and that how he's not a drug addict. But he says again, I just did it because I was stressed, and you know, I don't need rehab to stop doing. Like, I don't do drugs regularly. I think that's probably true. Because before, they've never said that how he's been high. It's always been he's a drinker. So I don't think he needs rehab for drugs. But I think if he gets another DUI, he probably needs to do rehab. Or even if he doesn't do like a full extent rehab, he needs to get in some kind of AA classes. You know, he does need some kind of help, but maybe not as far as rehab. You know, but he's, you know, I was just having a hard time, is what he told his dad. And I think his dad understood that. And his dad was like, look, you know, I love you more than I love myself. You know, I put you over everything else. And, you know, I do all of this business stuff so that I can have something to hand over to you. And he's like, you know, look, you need to get away from LA and the craziness. So go to Vegas. I'm like, who the fuck leaves Cali to go to Vegas to rest? Vegas to me is a party city. You don't want him in LA, but you're gonna send him to Vegas, where I'm pretty sure, you know, it's drugs and alcohol. I'm pretty sure of that. Just saying. And you know, he like, you know, just take a break from LA and, you know, go to Vegas. It'll be smart. Whatever. The next scene we see is Christiana meet her fake ass sister. Yes, I said her fake ass sister. Mainly because, you know, I don't like judging people how they look, but I have to admit, the Jacksons look a certain kind of way. The DeBarges all look a certain kind of way. I think both families have very strong genes. Hell, my family have very strong genes. Us Johnsons. And, you know, when the girl walked in, I looked at her, and I was like, she don't look like them. And Christiana then said, you know, I don't like to judge anyone. You know, it's okay. But, you know, when she walked in, I instantly thought I don't think she's my sister, because my family has really strong genes, and we can tell a DeBar, you know, we know our family. She was like, I don't see her as my family. No tea, no shade, but I got exactly what she meant. Because if you see the DeBarges, they all do look alike. And if you see Janet, the Jacksons, they all look alike, even after all their plastic surgery. You know, their kids still look a certain kind of way. This girl just happened to not look like what Janet Jackson and James DeBarge would have made 30 years ago. I'm just saying, no tea, no shade. So, you know, her and Christiana does talk. The girl had a really sad story about how she did not have parents. You know, she was raised by like 30 different foster families that she, you know, eventually she was homeless for like 5 or 6 years. How, you know, she had almost died in the hospital. So she had a very sad story. And then she said, yeah, you know, just to, you know, grow up and not have a mom. And then, you know, I come to realize that Janet Jackson is my mom. I'm like, and I hate to say that I'm judging the person based on how they look, but sometimes within families you can tell. You know what I'm saying? Especially when families look a certain kind. The DeBarges all look the same. They look almost not black. They like a little bit mixed between like black and Latino. They can be, you know what I'm saying? It's a whole thing. You know what I'm saying? The Jacksons have a certain kind of look. the same reason why people said Michael Jackson kids could be his kids. You know what I'm saying? It's that type of thing that I'm talking about. But, you know, Christiana says to the girl, you know, I'm not saying I doubt your story. She's like, but I would feel better if we had a DNA test. We can get this, you know, said and done and over with, point blank, period. So the girl says, okay, yeah, that'll be cool. Bible study at Master P House. I could have been a fly on the wall. You know, they had Bible study. And the first thing I thought when there was some people coming in, I'm like, why is Pepper there but Egypt not there? I do not understand why whenever there's a scene that the kids, because this is growing up hip hop, it's supposed to be about the kids of famous people who are growing up. I'm confused because I'm looking like, why is Pepper always involved in stuff that that Egypt is not at? It's just Pepper. Pepper, your daughter's supposed to be, you know what I'm saying, the focus of the story. Why is it more focused on you? That kind of aggravates me. So, you know, we see the answer doesn't go. No surprise there because you knew Brianna was going to be there. And, you know, they all start talking. And Master P is talking about, you know, things he went through. And, you know, his brother being, you know, people being murdered. You know, thinking he wouldn't make it to be past 19 years old. You know, his brother's that's in jail. There's different things he's overcome in his life. And as he's talking, Brianna getting emotional. She's sitting there and she starts crying and she get up and she walks away. So Brianna then go into the whole. I ain't gonna say she was faking it or whatever, but you know she's crying. She's in the bathroom. Romeo, Boogie, and Pepper get up to go after her, and she just starts saying, you know, I was on meth for 7 years. You know, I used to smoke crack cocaine. I've been smoking cigarettes for 20 years, and you know I don't understand why I'm still here. I was like, damn, you did meth, crack, and you've been smoking cigarettes for 20 years? First of all, she said she's been smoking cigarettes for 20 years. I said, how old are you? You know what I'm saying? Because are you 36? Because I'm just hoping you wasn't smoking cigarettes like at like 13. And I don't think you're that old. So I'm like, well, damn, how old are you to be? I smoked, well, I'm 35. Well, I guess because if a person starts smoking cigarettes at 15, I'm 35. Okay, so maybe she could be my age. Anywho, I'm like, but you smoke. So when she said she smoked meth, she smoked crack, I'm like, okay, so she's a former crackhead, and she's a former, because if you smoke meth for 7 years, meth is a hard drug, okay? A hard drug. So my thing is, you really, and for me, I felt bad that I couldn't 100% sympathize with her pain solely because she's been such a bitch. But I still felt bad for her, that she endured whatever she endured, and she went and smoked crack and meth, whatever her reasons were. But you know, but you still here, so you know you need to count your blessings, as you know, as many say. You know, she then was talking to Pep separately, and she brings up again how Mary J. Blige doesn't talk to her anymore. You know, she felt like she lost her too. You know, how Mary J. Blige did not reach out to her when her boyfriend beat her up. And I keep thinking, why do you keep putting things on Mary J. Blige as if your daddy should, as if your real mother, whoever your birth mother is, you know what I'm saying? You keep putting things on Mary J, and I feel like why you keep putting stuff on her is because she's the famous person. She's your famous parent of the show. But you keep putting things on her, and it's kind of very fucking frustrating. So she kind of, you know, cleans herself up and goes back out. You know, it's the whole thing of she's happy she came. Boogie is also happy he came. You know, they both say how they needed it to realize that they have people in their corner. So yeah, we see that whole thing. Damon and Treach had a conversation, which I didn't see the point of it really a little bit. You know what I'm saying? All it really was Dame saying how he trying to distract Boogie so he can not be on drugs, and Treach saying how he was upset that Pepper wrote the book, lets the daughter read it, and you know he thinks it's wrong that he feels like Pep put Egypt in a spot where she had to pick between two parents. You know, you can't, you know, don't put dirt out on your child's parent, but on your child's other parent, but don't put dirt on yourself. And you know, don't put nothing out that make a child look at their parent different. I completely agree. So they had that small conversation, and you know, I agree with them both. I still don't agree with Dame taking Boogie to Vegas. I think to get away from a crazy scene. I think Vegas itself is a crazy scene. It's a fucking party city. We then see Boogie talking to Romeo and TJ, You know, saying how he almost cried at the little prayer church Bible read because the things that people were saying were things that he was feeling himself, and how he's happy he came. He wants to be a better person, and you know that's all a great thing too. So, not lastly, but we see Egypt, Peppa, and TT having a conversation. Egypt makeups look 100 times better. Someone did her makeup this particular time. Anywho, you know, they're all talking, and Pep is really simple. Pep was still saying how I want you to know the truth, but in my own way. I wanted to give you the book myself. I wanted to, you know, go with you chapter by chapter. So if you had any questions, you can talk to me. You know, I'm mad that you went and asked TT for the book. TT, I'm mad that you gave her the book. It was a whole bunch of stuff that they've already talked about. You know, she forgave TT. She forgave Egypt. She then went to her piano stool, had a book wrapped up in bold and everything, and she gave it to Egypt. Kumbaya, my lord, kumbaya. But what else? No, the one thing I will say is she kept saying how TT robbed her of the moment to show the book to Egypt. I keep saying, you wrote that book 8 years ago. 8 years ago. You had 8 years to give her that book. She turned 18. You could have told her on her damn 18th birthday. You should have gave her the book before anyone else had the chance. So the reason someone else gave her the book was because you gave someone the opportunity to give it to her because you didn't do it yourself soon enough. You could have gave it to her once she turned 18. Or hell, when she turned 17. When she was out there with her boyfriends, you could have been gave her that book. Point blank period. So, you know, anywho. The last scene of the evening is they're at TJ's party. Angela's there, everyone's having a good time. Then we see Brianna show up, and she's saying that she's coming to talk to Angela to clear the air, to apologize for being a bitch. But we all know, Angela told y'all before, she's not doing those scenes with Brianna. She's made that clear. So Angela was there talking to Peppa, and you see Brianna walk in. Angela sees that she walked in, so she looking like, you can see she's agitated because she's like, I done told them I don't want to have scenes with her, and she's walking in. Let's see if she's going to come anywhere near me. So as she's still talking to Peppa, and Brianna's walking in, hi, you know, it's hi. And she's getting closer and closer to Angela. And Angela feel like they're trying to make this be a moment. I'm not going to give them this moment. She's like, give me 1 second. And then she leaves. She's like, I told y'all I wasn't meeting with her. I'm not dealing with her. I'm not shooting no scenes with her. I'm out. And they're like, Angela's leaving. And she's leaving. They're like, where's she going? And Brianna like, why is she leaving? I wanted to talk to her. You know, she acting like, you know what I'm saying, I'm a cop and she got warrants. No, she's acting like she told production she don't want to do scenes with you, and they're trying to have it be a scene, and she not doing it. And I agree, if you don't want to shoot a scene with somebody, then don't shoot a scene with somebody. You do exactly what you did. You leave. And plus, she don't know that you're trying to make amends. She just know every time she's been in your presence, you've been a bitch, and she ain't having it. And it goes off. So, you know, that's my review. I'm tired. Again, I don't know how much I like this season, so I'm not trying to put that much into it. So we'll see what happens on the next episode. But other than that, I am Jay Lee. This is Jay Lee's Corner. Till next time, people. Peace.